G'day Reefers, I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Thanks for watching Gallery Aquatica TV. Today we're going back to one of our most popular tanks, Splashback Reef. You might remember this tank from a previous episode of Gallery Aquatica TV where we had to actually get inside the tank to glue in the corals. Now today we're not going to be swimming in the tank, but we do have a challenge which is almost as difficult as the previous one. So we'll show you what we're going to do and we'll take you back to Splashback Reef. So for such an epic tank as Splashback Reef, we have to make sure that the coral is equally as epic. So we have a very large piece of Dallas acro in this tank. Now you may remember this piece of acro from a previous video that we've done, and it's a very large piece, probably the largest that we took out of the tank. And we're going to show you exactly how you glue a piece like this into a tank like Splashback Reef. So now you've seen this monster piece of acro, you would realize straight away it's too big to fit in a standard aquarium bag. So we'll show you how we're going to transport it. And what we have planned today is a large foam box, which is down here. And we're actually going to move this coral dry. Now what that means, we're going to take the coral out, put it in the box and cover it in wet newspaper. So unlike 99% of the corals that we sell through Gallery Aquatica, we won't be bagging this underwater. So it's quite interesting. So I'll just place it like so. I'm going to wet the newspaper underneath it, just with a bit of water out of the tank. And I'm just going to drape some wet newspaper over it, like so. I always try and maximize the contact of the wet newspaper with the tissue of the acro. Okay, this is the last one, just over the top, like so. A little bit more water. Okay, and so that's it. This acro will be okay for probably an hour or so, or longer even. We've only got a 30-minute drive ahead of us, so it'll be totally fine. The next challenge is going to be exactly how we glue this into the tank so that it looks good and standing up and really complements the height of this tank. So here we are at Splashback Reef. Now we have the perfect position for this huge Dallas coral. We're planning on putting it up here. The reason being is that there's a bare piece of rock that we've got that we can attach the coral onto, but most importantly, we're looking for corals which grow up towards the light. So we'll be hoping that this piece will occupy this area here and complement the Dallas and stag on the other side of the tank. But the hardest part about gluing this piece of acro into the tank is going to be the fact that there's a very small base to adhere onto the rock. So we may have to use some epoxy and definitely some glue, but we'll start by taking the coral out, positioning it and seeing what our contact is like. So let's have a look at our acro. Being very careful with the way that I take this newspaper off. I might even put it up here, but you can see that this is the base that we'll be hoping to attach to the rock so that the rest of the piece is sitting up off the rock work and none of the other part is making contact with the rock. Right. So it might work here, but I'll try it down here as well. It's important that we can give it some space to grow. Like that maybe. Okay. Alright, so this is perfect. So this is exactly what we're looking for. We've got a nice little nook that we can put that base into, and it's actually balancing there by itself. Now this makes it so much easier so that when we apply the glue, it will sit there and we don't have to hold it until the glue dries. So I'm very happy with this and it looks sensational. So let's get the glue. So a lot of people ask us about the types of glue that we use. Now there's two types that we use. We use the Two Little Fishies Corifix and we also use the Ecotech CG. Now I like to remove the whole nozzle from the glue because I like to get a large dollop. It's very important that these corals are glued securely and a large dollop allows us to do that. If I'm doing frags, then that's when I'll use the smaller nozzle, but 90% of the time when I'm gluing corals into the tank, I take that off and this is how I use it. So, whoops, all right. So I'm going to apply the glue along here. And yes, it is a big dollop, but this is how I roll. Ensuring that it makes contact with that. Oh, there we go. Oh, almost. I'm trying to have as much height with this piece as possible. So I really like the angle of this part reaching up for the light. And the contact with the glove, there we go, bugger. Now, this will happen sometimes, and it just means that I'll have to hold it here for a little bit. But I'm happy with how it's sitting, so I really want it like this. So I've just improved the contact of the glue a little bit by just using my finger to push down the bubble of glue that's been created. And this will just speed up the drying time or the curing time of the glue. And we'll just give it a few minutes. I was really hoping not to have to hold this at all, but let's see. Okay. Might need that epoxy after all. So it looks like our piece of Dallas Acro has finally stuck with the glue. So I've done two things differently, which I would probably say I've done wrong. The first of which is that I didn't turn the flow off in the tank. Because the piece was sitting quite comfortably in the first position that I had it, I figured I could do this without turning off the flow. So I should have done that. But the second thing is that I only put the glue on one side of the base. I had the perfect opportunity to put it on two sides, but I chose just to put it on the one section of base. And if I had put it on both sides, it would have held first time for sure. But anyway, the piece is exactly where I want it. So I'm happy with the fact that it's reaching up towards the top of the tank, and it's going to look really good as it branches out more and more. So this is looking good. So that's our job done for today, and we're very happy with how it's gone. We'll bring you more updates with this tank as we put more and more corals into the tank, and we've also got some really exciting fish that we're going to be putting into this tank in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So thank you so much for watching our video today, and we really appreciate all your comments, and if you like the video, and subscribe to our channel. So thank you so much for watching, and happy reefing. So that's our video for today. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe as well. We'll be putting out videos every week showing a new tank with new products. There's going to be lots in all the videos. I'm Cam the Fish Guy, and keep on reefing.